Well, it finally happened. Hi everybody, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome in. My name's Chris, and well, as you could see, a few days ago it actually snowed. But today, it's a nice warm 82 degrees out. So I figured, it's about time to finally take you on that bike ride. Why don't you come along and let's see what we can see. I'm going to start my ride down here at the Carson Nature Center. And mostly because, well, when I got to the Reynolds Landing, there was quite a bit of construction. Yeah, you'll see a little bit more when we get there, but there were trucks blocking the road. All I could do was get into the Breckenridge Brewery parking lot, and I didn't want to take up one of their parking spaces, so I went just a little bit down the road to start this ride. And it is going to be a beautiful day for a ride. We're pretty much just gonna ride up the river today, and I'll make a few stops along the way. I'm also gonna go ahead and test out my harness for my action cam. We'll see how that works out, and I'll try to put some of that footage towards the end. But first, let's walk back and get my bike off the car. Yeah, I figured might as well not bring it into this part. But the rest of it, yeah, let's go hop on. We'll be going down the Mary Carter Gateway Trail. Here's a quick look at the map. We're currently here. There's where the Reynolds Landing is and all the construction right now. We're going to head beyond that before we stop and, well, I'll see you then. Yeah, I kind of want to just see how far I could get first, and, well, part of that'll be in the montage later. Let's just skip ahead. Just a little extra energy before I go. You know, the last time I was here, I did find a little something in the trees. So always make sure to keep an eye out and watch for the little things. Like New Zealand mud snails. Yeah, definitely be on the lookout for them. Well, I made it back out to the Reynolds Landing, and it's a much different look now. I would have been able to park here, but I'm glad I started where I did. Yeah, but like I said, I'll show some of that later. I gotta stop back here for some lunch, and, well, might as well explore at that point. For now, I'm going to get a few more miles up the road. Well, damn. I've ridden for about 4 miles and, well, 20 minutes. At least according to my app. Seems like a good enough place for a little break. I don't want to leave my bike for too long, but I did want to come down and take a quick peek at this. Always make sure you take a little bit of time out for nature when you can. Yeah, but there is one more place I want to get to before I start heading back. And that trip back is where I'll go a little bit slower and, well, pause and show a few extra places. See, right now I'm traveling downstream. Going back, it's going to be upstream. So that's why I'm trying to power through this first part. And then we'll go slower during the second. In fact, where I want to stop is, well, not too far up the path. You see, pretty much right next to that dam is a whole bunch of recycling. And when I say recycling, I do mean recycling. I mean, just look at some of the stuff in there. Yeah, always make sure you stop, slow down, and take a look around. And remember that you never really know how long any of it's going to last. Guess it's only fitting that there's all this recycling directly next to nature. Yeah, it looks like a few people are getting ready to enjoy some of that nature. And despite that snow a few days ago, well, I couldn't imagine a better day for it. Even if some of that nature tends to get a little bit loud because of its surroundings. Well, I guess this is how all good rivalries end, in recycling. It may only be about, 4.5 miles from where I started. This does seem like a good enough place to turn around and start heading back the other way. There's quite a few places I want to stop at. Well, looks like they're getting ready for a little bit of training today. There is quite a lot to see along this trail. Unfortunately, it does look like they are wrapping up for the day. Bummer. I would have loved to have seen something on fire. They do have a nice little complex here, though. And it's just right here alongside the river. Yeah, but as we get a little further down, we'll start getting a little more nature and a little less industrial. Yeah, that's also why I wanted to save most of the stops for the trip back. Yeah, there still are quite a few places out here that I haven't explored myself. And they pretty much are meant to be explored, otherwise, well, they wouldn't have this very nice picnic table. Pretty sure that's already more picnic tables than Disney World has. Oh wow, and look at the big difference between 1953 and 2014. I'm not just talking about how clear the photograph is. Quite a bit has changed around here. I'm going to take a quick look around. And I do mean quick, because there is no place to really lock up the bike, except for this picnic table. How can I not try to explore just a little bit? I can't tell if that's a trail or not. I won't take it. Yeah, but this looks like a potential trail. Ooh. Okay, that way definitely does not. But this way kind of looks interesting. Ooh, birds. Okay, most definitely not a trail. But it's still nice. Still, let's get out of here before I run into any snakes. Apparently the rattlesnakes are back out in Colorado. This isn't quite the area for them, but it's a good time for that warning. Yeah, with things heating back up, I mean, not that they ever really cooled off this winter, but the wildlife is starting to come back out, so definitely be cautious of your surroundings. But I guess it's about time to hop back on that bike and make it to the next little stop. Yeah, time to get back trucking on. And just for the record, we are here. Okay, here's a little bit more context. Well, there's downtown. We didn't quite make it there. We stopped somewhere right along here. We'll go right back all the way up here. Right around to Mineral is where we started. I'm going to try to get up to C470. We'll see about that. Yeah, but we are going to make one more stop before we get to Hudson Gardens. Hey, wait a second. Hey, what year is this? You know, I keep trying to get to that next location, but I keep running into little places to stop. Yeah, all it really says is that the mill was somewhere near this location before burning down, but yeah, that is a little piece of history right along the river. Which brings us to Elon Musk's junk. There has to be a better way to phrase that. Yep, right here in downtown Littleton is an actual Falcon 9 rocket. It's on display just, well, right here next to the river. And of course, you can go in to see it. I wonder when they're going to take this thing out to the recycling bin. You know, it does make for a fun, unique, and free place to go and take some interesting photos. Because it really isn't just nature out here. There's all kinds of interesting things to see. Including some more modern history. It's kind of amazing how up close it kind of looks more like a set piece from Star Wars. But I guess it's time to get back on the bike and head back into some more nature. Yeah, because I'd rather look at the river than a bunch of space junk any day. But I just wanted to show everybody that it is right here. What do you say we take a quick stop at Hudson Gardens? Yeah, Hudson Gardens seems like the perfect little place to take a break. In fact, it looks like they're selling some smoothies. I got a medium tropical harmony for $7.50. And here is the tropical harmony. Yep, cheers. Yeah, that definitely hits the spot on a day like today. I think we should take a walk around as I enjoy this drink. Yeah, this place looks quite a bit different without the giant hot chocolate sitting here. You see, Hudson Gardens is where we come for Magic of the Jack-o'-lanterns and, well, a Christmas lights display every single year. But I kind of wanted to take a quick look around as spring was starting to come in. Yes, I hope you all bear with me. Well, I didn't bring the dog from Monopoly with me, but I did lock my bike up back there. Let's go ahead and do a little exploring. I wonder what this is over here. Oh, insect hotels. Okay, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Troop 361. Here's a look at the insect hotels themselves. And yes, bugs are very important. They actually have a couple of these sitting out. And right next to that are the honeybees. There are quite a few hives back here. Some of them are quite active. It's definitely a beautiful day to come and walk around here. I'm glad I stopped. Yeah, usually it's nighttime when I'm out here, so I never really get to see anything. And apparently my feed is full of construction updates lately. I don't have any idea what they're building here, but yeah, there are some steps leading down. I can't wait to see what it is. You know, or I could just look at the sign. So I guess I just can't wait to see it finished. And I wonder what they're building over on that side. And when I get there, I'll see if there's a sign. You know, during those Halloween and holiday events, this hill always has some synchronized light displays. It's interesting to see it completely empty. Well, I definitely have to walk onto the little island. Yeah, during the holidays, there's usually a few displays out here that my daughter tries to imitate. Yeah, a couple of dancers made out of lights. It's become a tradition. That area looks quite a bit differently right now. In fact, this entire park looks different. Well, living with the land seems to have had a budget cut. Yeah, all of this is the vegetable garden, but apparently they aren't quite growing yet. Still, here's a QR code. Yeah, remind me to come back and check it out during the summer when things are actually growing in. I mean, there is a little bit of mint growing, but there's really not much. Yeah, the herb garden is, well, in need of a little bit of help. Of course, I did find the catnip. Well, they better get growing that before Christmas comes. Scarlet Bee kind of sounds like a superhero, doesn't it? Well, there is no QR code for the herb garden. Let's see if there's any additional information in... Well, that's not information. Yeah, if something isn't a trash can, please don't use it as one. You know, there is a plant missing from this garden. But you can find it up the street. Ooh, garlic chives. Now you're talking. And if you want, you can come out here and live on French time. And if this video tastes like soap, I do apologize. Hey, I found all the water plants. They're keeping them inside of here to keep them warmed in the winter. Granted, it didn't really get cold this winter, but still, better safe than sorry. There are even some little sculptures around here. This one called Flight by Maureen Hardy. It was made back in 2016. And there's how I know. If you have a chance, you should really get out here and just walk around. It's quite beautiful. And again, this is an area that just looks completely different right now. For Halloween, this is kind of a graveyard scene with all the jack-o'-lanterns and... well, it looks quite awesome. Right now, it's, well, very nondescript. But over on the other side of the trail is the Bob Hoffman Water Garden. This is quite the opposite. And quite worth a very quick stop. And right next to that is another little place where you can sit and just enjoy a little nature. There's just so much to see out here. And if you're still enough, well, these birds are all around here. Well, not just them, but squirrels as well. Okay, those aren't quite songbirds. This is a piece put up in 2013 called Collective Nest by Joshua Wiener. And there's the little plaque for it. You know, normally I just walk right past this area because, well, it's all just a part of the displays. I never really see it. In fact, during those events, that area would be filled with little fires for s'mores. I'm so glad I came out here to see it during the regular season. It's honestly a beautiful place any time of year. There's another look at that little island from the other side. You know, normally when I'm walking through this part, we're coming to the end of an adventure. I'm pretty sure we're just towards the middle of this adventure, though. I still have a few more stops to make. And there's that construction from the other side. Again, I wonder what they're making. Well, we just have a little bit more walking around to do before we get back on that bike. I think we've almost made a full circle around. It's been a nice little break, though. Let's check out one or two more little places before we get back on that bike. Yeah, how can I not go into a place called Hobbit Hole? And there is said hole. Unfortunately, there's too much glare for y'all to really see inside, but yeah, there's a nice little painting of the inside of Frodo's house. Or is it Bilbo's? It's one of the Baggins. And that's all right here in this little children's play area right next to an overlook. Yeah, I know it doesn't really overlook much right now, but at least there's some water in there. Yeah, when I came out for a ride a few weeks ago, it was completely dry. I'm thinking this water probably has something to do with the recent snow. And of course, overlooking that overlook is a nice little, little kids area with, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not real. No, you can't really see through there. But it is a little fun play spot. Right up here is the pavilion where you can meet Santa. Well, during the holiday season. He's on vacation right now. And we've made it around to the front. Right over there is Santa Fe. And pretty much right across the street is the cemetery where I filmed that little Alfred Packer video. You know, the one thing I haven't found yet is a trash can. And maybe they have one in the restroom. Yeah, they did. When in doubt. And what a beautiful little place for a restroom, too. You know, just when I think I've gone everywhere out here, I just find some more little places. Wow. There's even little fish in this pond. I'm not sure if you could see them, but... Ah, there's one. Yeah, there's definitely still a little bit more to see out here. And things that could be very easily missed if you just walk past it, but yeah, make sure you take a little time to slow down. Yeah, this is a whole area that I don't think they even use for those events. Yeah, places that I wouldn't even know were here if I didn't just walk around. And additional little art pieces. Yeah, this one's called Passage. Yeah, I am definitely curious about this cabin. There's no signage out here. It is mostly empty, actually. I guess they use it for events, but wow, that place looks kind of cool inside. Again, I'm glad I took the time to stop real quick and check it out. Okay, again, apparently I just needed to look around to find out. It's called the Inn at Hudson Gardens. Yeah, I'm guessing again that that's probably an event space that you can rent out. Well, I think it's about time to start heading back towards the bike. Because I started this journey about 3 hours ago. It's been a nice long day. But even as I say that, there's at least 2 more locations that are kind of calling me here. What is this? And why doesn't this space have a merry-go-round inside? This would be perfect. Another little space that I've personally never seen utilized, but then again, I'm only here for October and Christmas. That place should be used for something. Then again, it probably is, and I'm just not aware. Yeah, just looking through the calendar online, they have everything from salsa dancing to bird walks. So I'm sure that they use that for something. I think I have one more quick stop after this before getting back to the bike. But I had to take a quick look at all this. I mean, seriously, how could I not? Just the art piece itself is quite nice. And this one is simply called Garden Kaleidoscope. In fact, there's quite a few of these little statues to find, including this one called Dorothy and Friends. Hey, wait a minute. They're growing a tea called Voodoo? Well, who knew? In fact, there seems to be quite a few of them here. I just keep running into them. Well, I wonder where Ed McMahon is. And all of this is part of the Rose Garden, and, well, here's a QR code. But the last stop before getting back to the bike is right here next to the Rose Garden. Yeah, unfortunately this pool behind me is drained at the moment. Yeah, I'm sure all of this looks beautiful when it's fully in season. Now it's time to head back onto that bike and get back to Breckenridge Brewery. Yeah, I've got a beer or two to drink and a little more construction to look at. And they aren't very far from here. And welcome back to Breckenridge Brewery. Apparently they will be having music in the beer garden this summer. I'm sorry about the glare. And while we're here, please remember, no smoking. And I got a, well, it's called a Project Green. It's a strawberry basil saison. Cheers. Ooh. Okay, this is delicious. They do have some special beers here every now and then. This is one of them. Cheers. And apparently I'm starting to be a regular around here. That's nice. Yeah, this place is always a nice little reward on my rides. I make sure I stop here pretty much every single time I'm out. I know I'm just adding some extra calories after getting rid of some, but it's the exercise that matters. Now they do have a beer stand outside when it's open. However, they do have more beers inside than out. Much bigger selection if you just go inside. And they do have a nice sized cart for those busy nights. You know, the nights when they have bands, which apparently are Saturdays and Sundays. I think it's about time for a second beer, and then we'll start heading out from here. This one is called the Moncherie Stout. Yeah, like I always say, there are better things than IPAs. Cheers. Ooh. Okay, I really do like this one. Make sure you stop in while they still have it. By the way, I did just find out that about 6% on this is about half of the battery power of my Pocket 3. Unfortunately, the Pocket 4 doesn't look like it's going to be available in the US. So we'll see what I do for my next camera. Yeah, that's making me very upset, but I'm already looking at the new Insta360, which is supposed to be a direct rival to the Pocket 4. We'll see what comes out over the next few months. I have one major purchase to get through, then I'll start looking at a new camera. But this one is starting to get old. Yeah, I've had the Pocket 3 for a little over 2 years now, and all of its warranties have run out, so it's definitely time to start looking for something new. But now it looks like some of that construction is starting to wrap up for the day, so I'm going to head over there and start wrapping up this video with one last little mini construction update. Because things definitely look a lot different than they did when I first got here this morning. Well, okay, maybe not very different, but at least less active. Yeah, I'll get back to my bike in just a few moments. Let's sober up a bit and go for a walk. Yeah, I am absolutely looking forward to seeing all of this when it's done. Especially that new little bridge. And just for reference again, here's the concept art for that little spot. In fact, this entire area is going to look very nice. And if you want to know more, well, here's a QR code. And this is about the third time I passed by this jar today. It says crawdads. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I really just wanted to take a really quick look at all of the construction going on along this creek. I'm going to try to do that every now and then. I really can't wait to see what it looks like when it's finished. Yeah, the updates may not be too often, but I'll try to get out here every now and then. But for now, I think it's about time to start wrapping up this video. It kind of seems like a natural place for it. Yeah, but before I go tonight, I just want to remind everyone to just leave a few little random acts of happiness around. Even if it's just a hidden Mickey on a random trash can. The world itself is, complicated place right now, and everybody could definitely use a smile. And also make sure you're just a little extra kind to each other. We could definitely all use it right now. Yeah, but for now, I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that other good YouTube stuff, and, hopefully maybe I'll start to grow. Yeah, most of my videos only really get maybe a half a dozen views, but it's still worth doing. I'm just having too much fun. Yeah, but that said, I also never know when the next video is going to drop. I try to put one out every week, but yeah, with my work schedule, I never can tell. So make sure you click that bell notification and, make sure to come back next time. Honestly, I'm kind of biding my time right now until something opens in just a couple of weeks. Very much looking forward to checking that thing out, but I'm going to keep it to myself until it does open. And I also have to renew my season pass for Hudson Gardens. They have opened, but they are only open on the weekends. Because of my work schedule, I can only go to places midweek. So that one's coming up. And hopefully next week I'll have an update on an upcoming trip. I want to make sure everything's purchased first and, part of it doesn't go on sale for a few more days. Yeah, but that trip isn't until Thanksgiving, so do have a long time to wait. Yeah, until then, the Colorado fun will just keep on coming. But for today, it's time to hop back on that bike and kick to that riding montage I promised at the beginning. Yeah, the first part will be from the chest strap that I had on all day. The last of it will probably be from my wrist strap that I just put on. I'm going to film that on my way back to the car. Yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. And I will see you next time.